It's the weekend and you have financial questions that need answering. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. This is the program that takes the mystery out of your financial life. And the way that we do that is we rely on you to do just a little bit of work. All we need you to do is to listen carefully and think through whether some of these conversations jar something within you. And that prompts a question. If you are in that situation, you go straight to our website, jillonmoney.com. You click the Contact Us button, you write us a note, and then you make sure that you check the little box if you want to join us live on the air. And then Mark will do everything else. It's so easy. So jillonmoney.com, contact us, write down your question, check the box, come on the air. See? So simple. Okay, now, while you're on the website, don't forget you can check out all of our content, which lives there, including our free weekly newsletter. That comes out every single Friday. Mark does a great job of compiling some of the stories and videos that you could have missed during the week because you're busy. Right now, let's begin the program. We are talking to Anne from Connecticut. Anne, what brings you to us today?
So, basically, to make a long story short, and it is long, and I'll make it very short. When my husband and I first got married, we had like 2 pennies in our pocket. And after we got married in our 30s, and after we bought a house and had 3 kids and still had barely any income, a banking friend of the family said that we should go and invest our money in a diversified way. And
okay.
Up until that point, we had been putting we had maybe $100,000 that we had put into Vanguard, just a simple S&P 500 index fund. And with the statements would come every month, my husband would put them in the drawer and I would say, yeah, just put them in the drawer. And a couple of years went by. So in 2003, this friend says, you guys have to do something more sophisticated than that. You have to save money for your kids' college. We're like, yeah, we'll get around to it. So he advised us and he said he would help us. And we opened an account in a brokerage firm. We basically had one account there and we added our extra cash there periodically. And then we opened up 3 separate UTMA accounts for our kids for their college funds.
Okay.
And that money grew and grew. And then after my parents passed away, I took what I inherited from my mom after she was the second parent to pass. And I kept that money in a separate fund. And that's now in a trust that is owned by me that I plan to just pass on to my kids.
Okay.
So now 25 years have gone by and now there's a lot of assets there. And
how many?
Well,
come on. No one knows who you are. Let's go.
I know. Don't
come into the doctor's office if you don't want to take off your clothes.
I'm going to take off my clothes. All right. So the account that is just mine and my husband's, that is quote unquote self-managed. And this was what the friend of the family had set us up for. That has $1,056,000.
I'm going to call it $1 million. So $1 million in a joint account that you guys have. How old are your kids?
30, 20, one's her birthday is today, 30, 29 and 25.
Okay. So, and they're all on their own and doing fine? Oh my God. Who laughed in the background? Tom.
No, that was me.
Maybe I heard somebody chuckle.
That was me chuckling.
Okay.
The youngest one just started her first real job after getting a master's. The second one was working in government and had a good job with good benefits, but she hated it. And she took the
package.
The package. And now she's actually leaving to interview. She's going to Europe to interview for a job with a banking company.
Okay, let me just ask you a thing. Are these 3 kids still living with you, all 3?
No.
Okay.
And the oldest one just got her master's and she's down in North Carolina. She's the one that is 30 and she just got her master's and it's in public health, and the job market in public health and for anything that relies on public health grants has really gotten tight. So she's still looking for a job.
You paid for college. They've got 2 of them have masters and everyone's looking for work. And one just started. The 25-year-old may be our savior.
Right. I
God
mean,
bless
the
you.
one in the middle, when she was working, she was very good at saving. She has a Roth IRA. She
Mm.
has saved up, I don't know how much she has in her personal money, but I know she has 100,000 that she had saved during the
Oh,
pandemic. She was living at home. So she's 28 and she's got $200,000 in assets and about 56,000 in a Roth. So
that's pretty damn good. So
yeah.
you guys have this joint account with $1 million. What's the trust worth right now?
The trust that was left over from my mom,
Mm-hmm.
that originally started off with 350 and
Mm-hmm.
now it has 466, and that is 5 years old.
Okay, got it. And beyond that, any other assets that you guys have saved?
Yes.
Okay, tell
Then
me about
on
more.
top, and then I was lucky enough that my income rose a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So we got into a high tax bracket and we started talking to our wealth management person. I said, like, we need to have stuff that is like triple tax free. So we opened up a managed account that has municipal bonds and it's managed, within Morgan Stanley.
Yep.
And that has 391,000 in it.
Okay. You guys have 391 in muni bonds, 466 in the trust, joint account $1 million. What about retirement assets?
Wait, and then we have another joint account
Oh,
that we let Morgan Stanley manage.
okay.
So that managed account has $915,000 in it.
Oh, okay. So 915 at MS, self-managed the $1 million. What are you doing? You putting that, is it an E-Trade account or it's just at Morgan Stanley?
Well, it's at Morgan Stanley, and they do whatever they do with it, and it's growing.
Okay, whatever. You don't want to do this all yourself, and the muni bonds are good. So you got, okay, so keep going. So two joint accounts, one trust, one muni bond account.
Correct. And then we have 3 accounts that were the leftover money from college. When our friend helped us set up the money, he chose basically some mutual funds, and that's where they did great.
Uh-huh.
And then when the girls graduated, we said to them, listen, this UTMA money, it's not really your money, it's our money. And it would be the last money we would ever touch. So basically it went from being an UTMA account, and they signed off. Now it's co-owned between each child and Tom.
Okay. What's the whole total of the 3 accounts?
It's 160 times 3.
Oh, okay. So that's great. Okay. So almost $500,000.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we got a lot of money here. So we've got do I have all the assets that Morgan Stanley is accounting for, right? I got all that. We have them all.
We have
$1 million self-managed, 915 in a different joint account. The trust is 466. The muni bonds are 391. Each of the 3 kids has, well, let's just call it the 160,000 per child from former UTMA accounts.
Correct.
All right, I got that down. Now, are you guys working still?
I am. Tom retired. He
good for you, Tom.
For himself, but I'm 66. I'm still working, and I love what I do.
Oh, that's amazing. How much do you earn?
Well, the last couple of years was atypical.
All right, give me a typical year. Don't worry about the last couple of years.
All right, the typical year around 600,000.
Holy smokes! Are you a doctor?
I am. But I started working, I didn't start making money until I was like 35, 36.
We'll get back to Ann in just a minute. If you've got a question, go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. You're listening to Jill on Money.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show, where we are trying to answer your financial questions. And sometimes there's not one single response to something that's inside of you, or a goal or an objective of your life. Sometimes there are a lot of different ways to get where you would like to go. And part of the world that Mark and I inhabit, which is the world of certified financial planning, is a world that tries to listen to what you say you'd like to do and give you some different options. Now, I know you'd like to think there's a way to just simplify and optimize your life, but you know what? We're human beings. We're more complicated than that. So if something's going on in your financial life and something's going on in your real life, we encourage you to get in touch with us. Just go to our website. That is JillOnMoney.com. JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button. Write us a note. And if you'd like to join us live, you check the box and Mark will do everything else. Now, while you're on the website, you will see a lot of different things. There is a link to our 2 other audio shows, our podcasts. One is called Jill on Money, and that airs on Monday through Friday. And the other one is called Money Watch, which airs on the weekends. There's also a blog. There is a link to videos when I'm on CBS News, and you can see different stories that we're talking about. And of course, there is a resources section. All of it is there for you at JillOnMoney.com. Just bookmark it. You know you'll come back. And Mark is always refreshing our content, so it's all there. JillOnMoney.com. Okay, right now, let's get back to Anne from Connecticut, who's prepping for her retirement. Doctors take a long time to get going, but you have longevity. I just have a friend. Let me ask you this. You're a doctor. Would you go to a surgeon who is 86?
No.
I wouldn't either. My friend's getting her hip replaced by an 86-year-old dude.
I'm
a little scared.
That was a quick no.
I know. I wouldn't. But maybe he's fabulous. But she's like, oh, I love him. I'm like, oh, okay. Good luck.
I mean, maybe like if it was like a hammer toe, but not
not a new hip. Maybe he's got young people who do the hard work. He just says, cut there.
And he does the billing.
Yeah, right. And so 600 is a typical year. And how old is Tom?
Tom is 2 years older than I am. He's 68.
Okay. And does he receive Social Security yet or not?
No, he is. Tom is going to receive Social Security when he turns 70.
What will that be?
His Social Security at 70 will be 2551.
2551. And you won't wait. You'll wait till 70. And so what will yours be?
Mine's at 70 will be 5097.
50. How about that? Isn't that a big number? You know, when you think about that, Social Security, wow, that is a $5,000. You're going to have like $7,600 a month. How much do you guys need to live on?
Do you know what? It varies. Actually, I have also a pension.
All right, let's talk about this. Now, you are you self-employed or are you employed by a practice?
I'm not. I was employed by a hospital multi-specialty group. And then, but it used to be just an individual hospital and they used to have a pension plan. And then when we became a consortium of hospitals, they got rid of the pension plan, but I was grandfathered in. And so when at 70, I can take it earlier, but I plan on starting at 70. Then I'll be getting $6,240 a month.
Wow. And then Mark's laughing because there's a lot of money coming in. So what do you think, besides so we've got one pension, 2 Social Security checks. How much do you guys need to live on? Do you know?
Well, when the kids were younger, it seemed like it wasn't that much. And I thought it was only 8,000 to 10,000 a year, but to tell you the truth, it's closer to 20 a year. It's
so funny because you actually looked at it, right?
I did. I went back because I knew you would ask. And
so $20,000 a month, about
$20,000 a month, and some months it's 36,000 and 45,000.
How did that happen?
That's on the months that we have to pay the real estate taxes and the estimated taxes.
Okay, but let's say even 25 a month, right? Let's just say that, okay, just for fun. I mean, you're so close there. So when you look at all the income between your 2 social, because obviously today, while you're still working, things are great. Yeah. So you look at all this income, you're going to have about, let me do this quickly, 13,500, 13,800,
13,890. Yep.
Oh, look at me. I was pretty close. Okay. So 13,800 a month. So you got half of it. It's taxable. So is there any other income that you guys will have at that point? Anything else?
Yeah. Tom's IRA, he had a SEPA IRA, and then he had an IRA from a previous place that he worked. So we joined it together when he was 65. And now there's 910 in that account.
Okay.
That's never been taxed.
Yep. What else? Anything else what about you? Didn't you put any 403B or 401k?
Yeah. I had money from before I went to my job in Connecticut, I had money that I rolled over into an IRA. Mm-hmm. And then I kept adding like $6,000 a year to it. So I have $976 there that's never been taxed. Mm-hmm. And then when the hospital got rid of the pension plan,
Mm-hmm.
they have a Fidelity 401k. And so I have a 401k that has 1.7 million in it. That's never been taxed.
That's Mark laughing right now.
This is nuts.
This is amazing. It's crazy. It's like, aren't you shocked? You're like, I was just going off and doing my work every day. And then all this money accumulated, right?
Yeah, it was in one place. It was with, and then they went over to Fidelity, but the other stuff that was in MetLife was frozen. And I just never looked at it. And when I turned 60, I thought, I should probably roll these over and join them. And I was like, wow.
It's amazing, right? Of course, you're going to have to pay a bunch of tax on this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because you have like $3.5 million that hasn't been taxed yet, right?
Yep.
Okay. What is our concern?
The concern. Well, I know that I'm going to pay for tax, and I know that eventually I'm going to have 2 years when I stop working before I have to do RMDs and before Tom starts taking a bunch of RMDs. And maybe I'll do a little bit of Roth conversion then. But the main thing I was calling you about was our friend at the wealth management firm said, your self-managed account and the accounts that are Tom's and the girls, they basically, it's a very inefficient way to grow money. And there's a huge tax liability because we think that we should morph some of the mutual funds that remain in those accounts to something called custom core or parametric.
I know parametric very well.
Yeah.
And they're excellent at what they do. Morgan Stanley bought Parametric. So this guy has nothing to do with Parametric. Parametric does have an ability to tax manage accounts, which is very, very interesting. However, I am not 100% sure that's really where the problem lies. You have all this money. Your friend is saying maybe you need to look at the management of it. I agree. Is your friend managing the money or not?
Our friend of the family that helped us set up the accounts is no longer involved. He got kind of pissed off at us.
Why did he get mad at you?
Well, he got kind of annoyed that we weren't taking the initiative to become more knowledgeable about managing our finances. And we were like, and he's like, listen, I retired. I went on disability. I can't charge you for anything. I would never charge you for anything, but you guys have to take ownership. And I was like, he's right. But part of it is like, I kind of feel like a rube. I feel like a foreigner in this land of finance.
Okay.
I never
took a
course in my life. And I just, part of me wants to just trust the guy at Morgan Stanley and say, just do it, fix it, take care of everything.
Yeah.
But that said, there's a medical group in my town who had a great pension plan invested with a guy that had great returns. And his name was Bernie Madoff. So,
oh, geez.
People that invest blindly are at risk.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you're not going to be at risk in that same way because no one's going to be, doing shenanigans like that. However, okay, so I'm looking at this and I'm seeing big issues. Number one, let's start with the easiest thing. You guys, you own your home and you're happy. Do you have two homes or one home?
We have one home.
Okay. How much is that worth?
It's worth about 1.6 million.
And there's no mortgage left, I presume.
No.
So here's my three issues that I see. Number one, you're fine. You're working and life is great. Terrific. Yeah. And you have plenty of money to support $25,000 or $30,000 a month even. Right? Okay. Just you have plenty of money. I think you know that, right? Like in your heart, you believe that, right? So those are like big issues to actually have. Thank goodness I have that taken care of. So now we're talking about the nuts and bolts of what you have and how to manage the tax liability. Clearly, your biggest tax liability are the retirement accounts that have not been taxed yet, which is $3.5 million.
Yeah.
We'll wrap up with Ann in just a minute. You're listening to the Jill on Money Show.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here trying to navigate those treacherous financial waters that lie ahead. Okay, maybe they're not treacherous. Maybe everything's going great, but maybe everything's not going so great. That's okay, too. We're happy to help you wherever you are. If you need some assistance or some guidance or some mentoring or some coaching, get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and write us that note. If you want to join us live, check the box, and Mark will do everything else. And, I think this is a time of year where a lot of you might need some guidance. We're coming into the last quarter of the year, and next year there are going to be a lot of changes because of that new tax law. So maybe there are some moves that you need to make this year before the clock starts ticking on that new tax law taking effect. So give us a holler. Again, go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and I really do encourage you to come join us live. That way we can ask you a lot of nosy follow-up questions. Okay, right now, let's conclude our conversation with Ann from Connecticut. There has to be some strategy around how should we get this money out, number one. This money's all going to come out, and when you think about it, if we just pretended it's 4 years from now, okay? And I said, okay, well, you have $3.5 million, and you're going to have to take a minimum required distribution. It's going to be 150 grand a year, basically. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's your minimum. That doesn't account all of your other problems, not problems, but tax issues in your other accounts. Oh, by the way, everyone listening, do not send hate mail about this. She's a doctor. She worked her butt off and it just sort of accumulated. This is what happens when you are born at the right time in the right generation and you keep investing early. Okay.
And
so
my parents came to this country. I came to this country as an immigrant. My mother was a nurse's aide.
How about that? Amazing.
My dad he had an office job as a computer programmer, but before he got that, he worked in a factory.
Yeah.
My parents worked so hard.
And look at this. And they paid off because you have been completely amazing in your diligence, in your education, all of these things. This is all good. And so anyone judging, no judgment. Okay. Now, what I think is fascinating here is there is obviously some strategy necessary. The question that I have is, okay, let's just pretend that you want to have someone manage the joint account. So really there's about $2 million. I'm not including the trust right this second because that is its own tax bracket. But you have $2 million in this joint account. You have $3.5 million in your retirement accounts. There should be someone who tries to create a strategy for you to better manage this. So here's what I would suggest. I think you guys are a perfect couple to consider shopping around for a real financial planner. And that may include interviewing the people at Morgan Stanley, but I do think you should interview someone else. Because I do think it would really behoove you to not just, by the way, a lot of firms use Parametric that are not Morgan Stanley. Morgan
Right.
Stanley owns Parametric now, but you can still use them in isolation, okay, through other advisors. But I think it would be important for you, people who have not gotten psyched about investing. It's not your avocation. You like being a doctor. And Tom liked doing whatever he wanted to do. He's self-employed. This is not your avocation. So I think it is a great time for you to talk to somebody about this exact issue, which is we have a looming tax issue in these retirement accounts. We have tax liability in our joint accounts, and we want to understand how we can marry these accounts together, put a strategy together to create this additional money we need, which is, probably another 20 grand a month or 15 grand a month more in income. How should we do it? And that's the strategy that you need to develop. You're fine. You won't make a mistake. Nothing bad's going to happen to you guys. It's impossible, truly impossible for you to mess this up. I mean, unless you started spending 50 grand a month, but I don't think that there's an issue, but I think this is the moment, forgetting about your lovely friend who got you involved, forgetting about the person even that you deal with at Morgan Stanley as the person. I think this is your moment in time. You're 2, 3, 4 years away from your retirement to put together a strategy with a advisor who will develop that strategy with you, who will implement that strategy with you, who will help you make sure that the money gets passed on to your kids in the way that you want. That there are some real planning aspects to this. It doesn't, sometimes when I say financial planning, people are like, well, I know I can make my retirement numbers. Yeah, but you want to do it as efficiently as possible. And you want to do it making sure that Uncle Sam gets his due, the state of Connecticut will get their due, and that your children are taken care of, that you're taken care of, but you're doing it in a smart way. I don't know if that is going to be, staying at Morgan Stanley, but I think you should compare how people approach this. Because like at Morgan Stanley for the managed accounts, how much are they charging you?
1%. And I thought that if we, once we got to a certain amount, that it would become less than 1%. Like, for example, the managed account, they're getting 1%, but the self-managed, I don't think they get anything for that.
They probably should get zero. I mean, they might charge you commissions.
Yeah, like
if you buy something, like a little something. And the trust account is also at Morgan Stanley, or is it?
Yeah, it
okay.
is.
I think what I would like to do is put you in front of a couple of different planners who will give you a different lens through which to view this. Now, you've been through this one lens. You're accumulators. You know how to do this. Now we're talking about getting the money out as tax efficiently as possible. And believe me when I tell you, there are so many folks who would love to work with you, and especially because you're not that involved. I'm not saying you're going to pay less than 1% going to someone else, and I wouldn't shop this by price, but I do think that, the IRAs, the rollovers, are those at Morgan Stanley also?
2 IRAs are at Morgan Stanley, and then my work is
Fidelity.
At Fidelity.
Okay. I mean, listen, they're managing a lot of money. If you think about it, there's about $3.5 million, $4 million, because the muni bonds are also at Morgan Stanley. So there's $4 million at Morgan Stanley. 1% feels like a little bit high to me for $4 million. It does. So you're in very good shape and in great shape. So congratulations about that mostly. And then also, I want to be clear that whoever you decide to move forward with, it's like you're in medicine, right? You get second opinions. You get a couple different people. You're going to hire the 86-year-old surgeon, or you're going to hire the 46-year-old surgeon. Do you need some help planning for a future goal? Get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger takes the mystery out of your finances.
Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show. We are chatting with you about whatever is on your mind around your life and your money. It's really your life first. That's what determines where we're going with you. And if you have no idea how to prioritize different goals, get in touch with us. We may be able to help you out. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and if you would like to join us on the air live, check the box. That said, we know some of you are shy, so if you just want to stick with an email, give us a lot of information, and that way we can help you on the air when we do an email, like we're about to do with Maureen, who had written to us about the Continuing Care Retirement Community Investment, CCRC. What's very interesting is that these are facilities where you plunk down a bunch of money. It's almost like an investment in their business. And so that partially will cover your sort of getting in the door. And then there are these annual monthly charges, right? But if you needed continuing care, right? If you go in, I'm like, I feel pretty good. Then you need assisted living. Then you need to go to memory care. And then, you're at the end of life. All that happens in one place. And so what I said was that, like, the problem with these things is that some of them have very shaky finances. And so Maureen wrote back and she said, I went through their Fitch ratings and they said that this particular organization has, quote, a strong financial profile, manageable capital spending, and effective cost management leading to solid operating metrics. The part that had me concerned is the financial report on them right now, which is what causes CCRCs to fail down the road. For example, this facility is increasing the number of domiciles, apartments, and expanding the size of other facilities beginning in October. The May report thinks they can fiscally manage it given the rate of occupancy today and other aspects of their metrics. But if the expansion exceeds their estimated budget, and given tariff wars and costs, that could be a possibility, and occupancy rates decline, could that send them into a financial tailspin that would affect those of us who have bought into the community? What happens to us if the CCRC declares bankruptcy? Okay, so to be clear, when one of these places goes into bankruptcy, they're not going to throw you out. The question is that when you die, then your estate would not necessarily get the money back or get a fraction of the money back. You'd be like any other investor, which is an equity investor, and you'd get in line. Maureen goes on and says, all of the current applicants, those who have paid the hefty deposit, are on their wait list. We'll be meeting with management to discuss the expansion. I would appreciate any question you think we should ask them to help us decide if we were wise to continue pursuing this part of our retirement aging strategy. Okay, so one of the questions that you would ask is, how much debt are you carrying right now? That's a big question, because if these folks went out and borrowed a bunch of money and also find out what interest rate it is, it's the same as if you and I borrowed money. They would be leveraged. And if their costs explode higher and they can't keep up with that, and they have to keep making these interest payments, that could be a problem. By the time we finally get a call about an available apartment, something in our physical health could have drastically changed that might cause them to decline admitting us. They tell us now that deposit money is 100% refundable, but if the CCRC is in financial straits, will all the money be refunded? This feels like such a gamble. We're giving them money to assure that we'll have continuing care as we age. They're telling us that they may decline to offer us continuing care if we're not healthy. Are we better off looking for in-home care services? Our home is paid off, and saving our money for that. Or does New York State regulate so heavily that in-home care isn't possible? Okay, big, huge, deep breath. The continuing care facilities are plugging into a need, but they have not necessarily proven that they can financially keep up with that need. And I think there is the risk that you see. So I'm going to let me take you back in time for a second, Maureen. I remember when I was a young financial advisor, and this was like the 1990s. It's a long time ago. My God, when I say it that way, we would have long-term care insurance policies, and they were not cheap, but they really made great promises in terms of what they could provide in terms of coverage. And what we found out later, with hindsight now, is that they mispriced the cost of long-term care. They mispriced how much it would cost to provide services over a length of time. And they mispriced that people would live longer and live longer with certain diseases. And as a result, a lot of these policies basically collapsed in on themselves. They were able to basically go to every state insurance regulator and say, we are raising premiums for every single person who has this policy. And so that is why a lot of people had basically no choice but to abandon their policy or live with a much smaller coverage amount. This is what I'm fearful about with these communities, because I don't think we have enough experience of someone who does it really well. So if you're saying, are you better off? I think that you would be smart to at least compare. In New York State, it's not that in-home care isn't possible. There's plenty of places that provide care. It depends what kind of care you do need and what your total asset level is. So, Maureen, I'd love for you to get in touch with us, and we could walk you through exactly what we think is the better option for you, or what the various options are for you, and then we could work it out together. Do you have something going on in your life that touches your money in some way and needs some help? Get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com. You're back. It's Jill on Money. We are here trying to help you get to wherever you want to go next in your financial life. If you've got a question, just go to our website. It's JillOnMoney.com. And in the upper right-hand corner, there is a Contact Us button. So no matter where you navigate on the site, that Contact Us button will be there for you. Click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and if you'd like to join us live, you check the box, and Mark will do everything else. Now, while you're on the website, you will see a lot of different things. There is a link to our 2 other audio shows, our podcasts. One is called Jill on Money, and that airs on Monday through Friday, and the other one is called Money Watch, which airs on the weekends. There's also a blog. There is a link to videos when I'm on CBS News, and you can see different stories that we're talking about. And of course, there is a resources section. All of it is there for you at jillonmoney.com. Let's do one more email before the end of the hour. This is from Jen, who writes, I have a small pension plan with a former employer. The monthly benefit is $236 if I wait until age 67 to take it. However, if I model the plan in different scenarios, I can take a lump sum amount between $19,700 to about $24,600 between the ages of 57 to 61. Would it make sense to take the lump sum sooner and invest in an IRA? I'm currently 55, not ready to retire at all anytime soon, just trying to leverage what I have. Well, Jen, I think I would be interested in taking that lump sum. I mean, waiting for that monthly benefit, it's just $200 a month, and I don't know if you have a cost of living adjustment or not, but I think it's also nice to have the lump sum, and with the other money you have invested, you could manage it. I'm not guaranteeing you're going to do better, but it just seems to me that this might be a more beneficial approach as you look at the future. I hope that helps. If you have a question, it's a pension, it's a lump sum, it's something else going on, just get in touch with us. Go to jillonmoney.com and click the Contact Us button. And if you'd like to join us live, just check the box and Mark will arrange to get you on the air live. We'll be right back.
It's the weekend, and that can only mean one thing. You're listening to Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show. We are here answering your questions about your financial life and your real life. If you've got one, just go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and if you'd like to join us live, just check the box and Mark will arrange to get you on the air live. While you're on the website, don't forget, sign up for our free weekly newsletter. Comes out every Friday. It's a perfect tune-up for this show. And when you actually sign up for that newsletter, you'll also get my weekly blog. So 2 for 1, all for free. So that's kind of fun. All right, right now, let's take an email. This is from Joe. Annuity or stay in a 401k? Okay. This is what Joe writes. I'm 60 years old. I still am working and will do so for 2 to 7 more years. My advisor wants me to pull half of my 401k, valued at about $500,000, and invest it in a 6-year annuity where supposedly I won't lose anything until the market goes down 20% or more, but the maximum return I can get is 11%. He thinks this would be best for me because he believes the stock market is going to go down considerably in the near future. Mark, keep laughing. I would really like your advice because I just want to stay in stocks and index funds. I've gone through downturns before. They usually come back. And if they come back strong, I think I could get more than 11% that the annuity is offering. Thanks for your help. I really appreciate it. Well, Mark laughed. And the reason he laughed is that, first of all, your advisor, he's not an advisor, he's a salesperson. So this is a terrible idea, number one. So I have 2 thoughts. One is that your advisor thinks the market's going to go down considerably in the near future. How does he know? How? This is baloney. I hate this advice. First of all, no one is really very good at predicting market tops and bottoms. And even if he did, and as you said, even if the market were to go down, 40%, Okay, maybe that could happen, but you're going to work for 2 to 7 more years. Maybe you work for 5 more years, and you'll get back. And you know what? This is, I think, one of those ideas that is really good for the advisor, but not for you. The advisor is going to make a big commission, and you're going to get locked into something that has high fees. So I think this is a lousy idea. And I'll tell you what else, Joe. I think you might want to consider shopping around your advisor relationship, because maybe you could just do this yourself and not get stuck, or maybe find someone who's going to be really looking at your best interest, not somebody who wants to sell you something. So this email is from Anonymous, and Anonymous writes, I stopped working several years ago to stay at home with my kids. At that time, I rolled over my 401k to an IRA rollover. And then we stopped contributing to Roths as we were down one income. Okay, makes sense. We did contribute to the employer 401k. Fast forward today, my husband and I have been wanting to start contributing to our Roths again, but now he makes over the limit. We would like to do a backdoor Roth, but I don't want to mess up. I understand that I cannot do a backdoor because I have a rollover IRA, which means that we would subject to the pro rata rule. But I can't seem to get an answer if my husband can contribute to his Roth. Does my rollover cancel out my husband's ability to contribute to his Roth IRA? Mark, yes or no?
The answer is no, but he can't contribute. He would have to do a backdoor Roth.
He has to do a backdoor Roth, but here's the other thing. Is it possible that your husband has a Roth 401k option? That's what I'm interested in. If he does have a Roth 401k option, then what would be interesting would be for him to use that and not worry about doing a backdoor. Let's say he
that's true. Unless he's already maxing out his 401k and they just have excess funds that they want to contribute.
Exactly. Now, if that's the case, as long as he doesn't have an old IRA, then your old IRA would not preclude him from actually contributing to a backdoor Roth. If he does have an old IRA floating around, he would just put it into his current 401k if they accept those funds. That's one of the big reasons that we like when people are thinking about doing backdoor Roths and you have like extraneous old accounts. A lot of these current plans will accept that money. So you might want to check that out. Next. All right. I'm blowing through these. Okay. Here's from Daryl. I've listened to your show frequently for several years. The consistent advice of contributing to a Roth instead of a pre-tax is consistent with the qualification of tax rates that could rise in the future. My question revolves around the fact that they haven't risen aside from the top bracket in decades. I'm 44 years old. I've been waiting for them to rise my entire adult life. They haven't. Even with Ed Slott urging the Roth position, why wouldn't I save the top marginal bracket today when my first dollars in and retirement will be the lowest bracket in the future? Also, the 72T position is rarely brought up for earlier retirees and requires a larger pre-tax position. Okay, so here's how I want to think about it, Daryl. In my mind, you're right. If you're in the top bracket, we don't know whether that's going to change in the future. I think the difference is, even if it didn't change, the fact that you're in the top bracket now probably means you're going to stay in the top bracket for a while. I really do. I really think that that's been the case. Like a lot of people who say that, like during your lifetime, if you're in the top bracket, it's hard not to be in the top bracket. But you could be right. And it could be for you that a 72T, which is really a way to take an early distribution, penalty free, on assets in a retirement plan that have not yet been taxed. You would have like a schedule, and sure, you can do that. The problem is with the substantially equal periodic payments, as I see it, is that, you won't get an early withdrawal penalty. You still have to pay the tax that's due. And I think it's kind of nice to know that you will have money that has already been taxed and you know what that position is. For many of the people who are coming on and talking to us, there's been a back and forth many times with folks who are in top brackets. So like at first, a lot of advisors were saying, oh, don't worry, just use pre-tax. And I think that advice has really shifted. So I think that pre-tax contributions, if you have all this money that's socked away pre-tax, I wouldn't necessarily want to compound that problem. And the benefits of having substantially equal periodic payments of getting that money out, it's great. You don't have a penalty, but, it does mean that you're locked into a distribution schedule. So I don't know, like I really don't love the idea of being locked into anything, but, it's certainly an option. So I would say that if that's something you're interested in, whether, you get this withdrawal from your IRA or your employer sponsored plan and you want to start doing that, that's fine. But again, it requires a fixed schedule of substantially equal periodic payments. And it is a rigid schedule. You cannot mess with it. That's why a lot of people do tend to do the rule of 55, which is like basically if you leave your job in or after the year you turn 55, you have a lot more flexibility and you don't have to pay the 10%. But both of these are interesting, and they are interesting to talk about with an advisor for sure. I think I know we keep saying tax rates are going to go up, but I think there's going to come a time where they're going to go up. That's like the math of the country's finances. If you've got a financial question, if you've got a concern, get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's the Jill on Money Show. We are here trying to help you make better, sometimes it's just less bad or less emotional financial decisions. Right now, here's an email from Jackie. Jackie's subject, I love. Can I take a break? Oh, man, Jackie girl, I know how you feel. I don't feel that way because I just had a wonderful 2-week vacation. I come back to you all. But okay, here's what Jackie said. I'm feeling burned out. I just want to know if I can take a break from work. I am a primary caregiver for my elderly mom. I've got a demanding job, and managing her care for the past several years has taken its toll. Okay. Jackie has about $480,000 in Roth assets, and then $133,000 in traditional IRA and retirement funds, brokerage account of $49,000, an HSA with $16,000, $85,000 in checking and savings, $10,000 in treasury bonds. Her spending, this is the good news, Mark. Her spending is only $4,000 a month. Incredible. In the next 10 to 15 years, I will inherit 2 different properties that I will split with my sister. Okay, well, here she left this to the end. I just turned 39. Is it crazy to take a break for several months and then try to re-enter the job market? My current base, $185,000. I live in New York City, and I live in the city with my partner. We're going to move soon to lower our costs and to increase our space. Okay, 39 years old and burnt out, Mark. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. She's caregiver for her mom. I can understand how that has left her feeling this way. It's tough to take an extended break and try to get back in. I don't know what she does. I don't know what her industry is.
Yeah.
She's going to inherit 2 properties eventually. I know where those properties are. One of them is going to bring in a lot of money.
Yep. Here's what I think. I think that you should talk to your boss. So first of all, I would say that if you can say to your boss, look, I need like a couple months here and I'm losing my mind. That would be good. I am worried about you being 39 years old, leaving the job market at a time when the job market's slowing down generally. And again, as Mark said, like, we don't know what you do. You think you're confident you can get another job fast? 6 months from now, that's possible. I really would need to hear about like a little few more of the details. I don't think it's a bad thing to take a break. I really don't. But I worry that if you do so, it could really be a while before you can land your next job. So if your partner would maybe, and you're like moving to a new space, and you could say to your partner, like, can we talk about this together? I know you're not combining your expenses, but if your costs are going down and you only spend $4,000 a month, and you have money in savings and checking, you could float this. You could say, here we are. It is September. I'm going back into the job market in January. If you feel comfortable that you can land a job in January, then sure, there's no problem doing this. But just beware that the job market is slowing down and things can change very quickly. So it really also depends on kind of your emotional ability to weather a longer period of time being out of work. I think financially you can do it. I really do. But that's just, you're 39, you got a bunch of money. This is all good. But I'd be careful with that. Okay? Good. Sue says that she's got memberships in Experian, TransUnion, and LifeLock. I want to get rid of some of these expenses. I'm afraid I'll be hit. Would you recommend keeping all three, downsizing to one? Thank you very much. Oh, okay. I'll tell you what. I'd get rid of all three, and I would just put a credit freeze on my credit record. What do you think about that, Mark?
Yeah, 100%. I was going to say, definitely for sure get rid of two of the three. But yeah, the best course of action that you can possibly take is to just freeze your credit files. Just
freeze it, Sue. And then if you have to go borrow money, you have to unfreeze it. But freeze those credit files. You don't need a membership in Experian, TransUnion, and LifeLock. Definitely not. If you're really worried, I guess I don't even know who I'd keep. I get Experian for free because I had like some data breach or something and I got it, but like I don't pay anything for it. I would never pay for that. Just freeze your credit. Freezing your credit, gang, it means that nobody can open up your credit record for anything, not even you. You have to unfreeze it to go get new money.
You have to
go
thaw it.
You have to thaw it. I like that. Okay, this is from Cynthia, who wants to know if she can do something called an off-ramp. Okay, Cynthia says, I'm a fairly new listener and I've been voraciously listening this year. All right. She's 45, single, no kids. She spends $6,000 a month. She makes $143,000 a year. She contributes 5% to her traditional money, to her traditional retirement account. She gets a 5% match there. Plus, she puts 2% into a Roth and $2,500 a year into brokerage/Roth IRA. She saves a couple $1,000s a month into savings. She just got out of debt. Woohoo! Way to go. Except for a mortgage. So here's what she has. Remember, we're trying to get this off-ramp going here. So 45, she's got $380,000 in a traditional 401k, $20,000 in a Roth 401k, 10 in a brokerage, 10 in a Roth IRA. Her home is worth $475,000. Her mortgage is $300,000, which looks like it will remains in place until 2034. About $8,000 in savings. Okay, here's the issue. After my mortgage is paid off in 2034, I will only need $3,000 a month. Can I go part-time or take a 50% pay cut for 5.5 years to reach 59.5, then start to draw 3% from the expected $1.6 million in a traditional 401k, covering expenses and healthcare until I reach 70, when my Social Security benefit will be around $4,800 a month? At that point, the calculators will say that I should have about $6 million in my accounts. Sounds all very good, doesn't it, Mark? My goal is to simplify and decrease my expenses so I can have a more flexible, less demanding job to do more of the things I enjoy, like volunteering and health and fitness and travel. I do have a gift that I receive annually, $10,000 tax-free, no end date. So also when I'm part-time pay cut, I anticipate my savings rate will decrease drastically. And after 2040, no more contributions to a 401k. Will this plan work or is it unrealistic? $6 million is probably a best case scenario. Would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for all you do to educate us. So, okay. Now, Mark, what do you think about this? What is your, I just want to do one quick thing, which is what would happen? We haven't inflated your expenses. So the $6 million may, even if it's $5 million, when you think about your expenses, we haven't increased them. Like $3,000 in today's dollars is going to be more money in the future. But Mark, what do you think of the plan of simplifying life, have a 50% pay cut, and like how do you think that Cynthia's off ramp sounds?
I mean, on the surface, I think it's probably doable. Just because she really, if $3,000 is the real number, I mean, she spends very, very little money. But I'd really have to drill down and do a plan. But I think on the surface, it's probably doable. She's not talking about quitting altogether. She's still going to have income coming in.
Right. And so I think that when a lot of people look at these, and even when we start with us, right, like we'll say like, yeah, we think you can do it. I think that it's probably pretty likely that you can do it. But as Mark said, things change. So I think it's a good working game plan. But because you're so young, because you're only 45 and we're talking about, years in the future, I know it's not that, doesn't feel like that long, but it's 9 years from now. Things can change. It looks like you're on track. You can keep testing these numbers every year. If it makes you feel good to just sort of say, like, this is my generalized game plan, then great. The one thing just to be careful about is I mentioned this recently, which is that sometimes you say like, oh, well, I can go part-time and I could take a pay cut. Like, yeah, maybe. Sometimes things don't work out that way. So if you feel comfortable understanding that maybe, a 50% pay cut for 5.5 years may not be 100% available to you. Maybe nobody wants us. Maybe your job is being replaced by an AI bot. I don't know. I think you're on track and you need to keep retesting the assumptions. That's what I would say. So good luck. Let us know. You're listening to the Jill on Money Show. We'll be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
Welcome back. It's Jill on Money. Here's an email from Jane, who writes, my husband passed away in December of 2024. He handled our finances, although I was kept informed of what he did. I should have listened more. We watched CNBC Daily. That's your first problem right there. But she did say, always love seeing you on CBS Mornings. My husband always told me that when he passed away, I would not have to do anything to our portfolio as it would rebalance itself. We are with a well-known brokerage firm, and the CFP I talked to said the accounts would not rebalance themselves. I decided to talk with him about handling the accounts for me. I have received a plan that he worked up. Currently, I have 59% in stocks, 29% in bonds, and 12% in cash. He wants to do, meaning the broker, I guess, is suggesting 40% in stocks and 60% in bonds. The portfolio value is $2.5 million. I have no debt other than the usual bills, utilities, taxes. I want to have enough to maintain our home, buy a car when needed, and travel occasionally in the U.S. I'm terrified of turning our portfolio over to someone else and losing all of our hard-earned dollars, although I know the market goes up and down. Can you ease my anxiety level? My pensions and Social Security cover my expenses. I currently have $60,000 in a checking account, $146,000 in a money market account, which earns a little bit of interest at the bank. I would appreciate any advice that you can give me. Thank you. Jane, here's how I'm going to ease your anxiety level. The most important thing of your whole note had nothing to do with your portfolio. Here is the, as we like to say in the business, the nut graph. Like the most important thing that you wrote is my pensions and Social Security cover my living expenses. Jane, because of that, you don't have to be so nervous about what happens next. I know that you don't want to lose a lot of money. And I think that probably you didn't say how old you are, but, I'm not sure that you need to have a big change in the allocation. But, if you've articulated this to the person, the CFP, then that's probably why this guy said we should reduce the stock portfolio from around 60% to 40%. And then move into some bonds. I think you probably are going to be a happier camper if you have 40% stocks, 50% bonds, and 10% cash. I get the sense that you're going to want some cash around because that's going to make you feel secure. in terms of like where you go next, you have to be terrified. I don't want you to worry about being terrified. But what I do want you to think about is you have direction and you have agency with this person. And you say to this person, to the CFP, and you say, hey, I don't necessarily want you to rebalance every year because that will create some tax liability for you. But you don't have to worry too much about what happens. You're not worried about making more. $2.5 million is going to keep growing. You don't have to take on tons of risk. Again, I don't know how old you are, but it seems to me that this is a very good outcome. Don't forget to ask Jane how much this person is charging you on this account. And then if you want us to hold your hand a little more, you can get back in touch with us. But I don't think there's any problem here. Again, the way you can ease your own anxiety level is to highlight this sentence. My pensions and Social Security cover my living expenses. That's the most important thing you wrote. So I think you're going to be fine. I really do. All right. Deep breath. It's going to be okay. Okay. Next question. This is from someone with a very, let's call her Mary, because I think she has an identifiable name. Dear Jill, my husband and I are both 49 years old. We have an 8-year-old daughter. We're in good health. I currently have a PPO health plan through my employer that covers the three of us. I do believe it would be beneficial to switch to a high deductible health plan for the upcoming year and start utilizing the benefits of a health savings account. However, my husband is not convinced that this is the best option. My question is, can my daughter and I enroll in the HDHP while my husband continues with the PPO plan? I don't think so. I don't think you can do this. I think the only way you could do this, Mary, would be if he got insurance through his own company and then you guys were on the plan yourself. Is that, you think that's right, Mark? I think that if she's on a family plan, he can't do it. They all have to do it, right?
You are 100% spot on, Jill.
Thank you very much. I remember a few things every now and again. Give us a holler if you need anything else. I like HSAs. If your husband wants a little hand-holding about why this could be a very good thing for you guys, why don't you come back on the air with us? We'll do a little extra healthcare coverage.
Triple tax-free, baby.
Triple tax-free. The money that goes in there, you don't pay tax on. The money that grows, you don't pay tax on. You pay the money that comes out when you have a health expense in the future. Now we're in the future. No tax. Triple tax advantage. Okay. Steve writes, we're in our early 70s. We own some real estate. We've got pensions and investments. We have no children, and we need someone to take care of our estate when we are no longer able to do so or die. We have trusts and wills, and we're going to have an attorney take care of this, but that's no longer an option. A new attorney wants us to work with a nonprofit organization. We would appreciate your advice. Okay. I don't know if you're asking me, like, what happens, like, who's the executor? There's two different issues that I'm hearing in this. One is that you need somebody to potentially, or an organization to be the trustee of the trust, like to administer this. So let's just say that you die first, your wife survives you. Then when she dies, who's taking care of all of this? And that would really require you to either name an individual or a trust company to do it. Now, I don't know how much money you have. Maybe it's not even necessary. Maybe there's a niece or a nephew who can take care of it. If you're asking a somewhat different question, which is you have no children and you want someone and you want an ability to give money away, then I think that you can do something called a donor advised fund, or you can work with a charity to create a trust whereby when the survivor passes away, that all the residual of your estate passes to that charity. But I don't know if you're charitable or not. So I need a little bit more information, but it's an interesting question. I think there's a lot of people who don't have someone close in their lives, Mark, who they need like a point person. Let me be clear, as somebody who's been served as an executor for family and for friends, it's a pain in the neck. It's the Jill on Money Show. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger takes the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. Let's get to an email. This is from Shannon. I live in the high-cost state of Washington, where buying a house really feels like out of reach these days. The median sale price in Seattle is $885,000, according to Redfin. The median sales price for a condo, $630,000. These numbers are so daunting to many first-time homebuyers, like my 28-year-old daughter. She's currently single. She doesn't think she can afford a house in the area, but she has a good paying job and a good savings habit, and I think she should try to shoot for a condo. My thought is to work with a reputable real estate agent, figure out the cost, the down payment, save for it, wait till interest rates come down, and then just do it. What's your thought on this strategy? With this housing market trend, some say that renting makes more economic sense. But I still think having your own piece of a roof over your head gives you so much leverage in the long run, meaning building equity and wealth. Maybe I'm just old school. This is what Shannon's saying. Anyway, if you could please review the numbers and guide a 28-year-old to strategize for her future, housing, and retirement. Okay, so here's what the 28-year-old has. She has income of $5,850 monthly income. Her expenses are $3,500. So this allows her to contribute the maximum to a Roth and a Roth IRA and a 5%, and she contributes 5% to her 401k to get the match. Okay. And then she has, listen to this, the kid's 28, $57,000 in a brokerage account. Her Roth is $31,000. Her 401k is $11,000. She also has a 403b, $3,400, a savings account with $40,000, a checking account with $16,000. And she also wants to know about, are there first-time homebuyer programs? How do they work? Would she qualify? Love the show. Keep up the great work. Mark, let me bring you onto the microphone for this, because I think this is an important question for us to explore. There are so many parents who are really worried about their kids ever being able to afford a home. So I love the idea of figuring out the costs and running the numbers, right? I think that if your daughter is inclined to want to do this, I think some of these numbers actually make some sense. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple of thoughts. Yes, if she wants to do it, if the daughter's on board, and I don't want to oversimplify it, but run the numbers. If she can afford to do this without decreasing the Roth contributions, without decreasing the 401k contributions, then yeah, it always comes down to the numbers. If you can do it, if you can pull it off and not have to pull back on any of the other stuff, go for it. But on the other hand, if she doesn't want to do it, she's only 28 years old. It's not the worst thing in the world. I look at myself. I didn't own my first piece of real estate until I was 39.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I think that and I'm underscoring this, that if she wants to do it, but I also want to point out that your daughter is an amazing saver. So the thing that I think is hard for a lot of people, I don't know how old you are, Shannon, but I'll just say that people who are, say, 50 years old and older, who own their homes, okay, we all came of age at a time where the real estate market was a wonderful way to build some wealth. But maybe today, if she has a good job, considering she's already got almost $60,000 in a brokerage account and almost $50,000 in retirement already, she's 28. She is kicking butt on her saving and investing. Maybe that's also a valid way for her to actually accumulate wealth. So I think that if she wants to do it, I think she'll be able to do it. Run the numbers. You'll see for yourselves. But if she doesn't want to do it, I really would refrain from nudging her into it. Okay, this is from Donnie. Mini convention? Hi, Jill and Mark. Have you guys considered having a mini convention or conference in New York at a venue with some speakers of your choice? Your fans and listeners could stay at a nearby hotel of your choice and make a nice NYC trip of it next year sometime. I would be among the first registrants. Love your shows. Have a great vacation and have a great Mark, I like this idea. What do you think about that?
I would actually really enjoy that.
Well, we have to figure this out. This could be a fun thing to do. How much would we charge for that?
I don't know, because, these people are going to be footing the bill to get here. So that's a tough call. I don't know.
Like, would want to make it affordable You know, I don't know. It's very interesting. I'm very excited to consider this. This could be the next expansion of Jill on Moneyland conferences.
We would hold it at Books Are Magic.
Oh, that's an excellent idea. But I don't know. Like, it depends how many people there are. That could be a good idea. So Books Are Magic is a wonderful bookstore in Brooklyn. There's two of them. And my friend is one of the partial owners. But wouldn't you want it to be in Manhattan? Oh, wait, that's me. I'm going to look into this. I think having a live event would be fun. Here's another message. Hi, Jill. I just wanted to say how much I appreciate your show. I start most mornings listening to you, usually with my 10 and 12-year-old boys in the car or playing in the background at home. They always groan, "No, not Jill again." It's become a running joke in our house. I've been really intentional about teaching them financial literacy. It cracks me up when we're talking about money and they chime in with, "I don't think Jill would advise that." Or is that what Jill would say? It's wild to hear kids casually talking about 401ks and IRAs, but here we are, and your voice has absolutely been part of that learning. You and Mark have such a great chemistry together. You definitely got fans in our house, one grown up, two very opinionated little ones. And if you ever need some kid voices for a segment, we got a couple ready to go. Oh, that's so nice. That is such a lovely, lovely note. Mark, I think that we have a message here, don't we?
Sure sounds that way.
I'm going for this. I'm going to talk to somebody. This is exciting to me. It's the Jill on Money Show. You're back. It's the Jill on Money Show, and we are here trying to help you make better financial decisions, or maybe just more considered ones. If something's going on in your life, or maybe you're contemplating a big change, maybe you're thinking about downsizing, maybe you're thinking about upsizing. There are plenty of people who are busting at the seams in their old homes and they want to know, how can I buy another house? Maybe you're thinking about how you can get your parents to finally sit down with you and talk about estate planning. Whatever it is, whatever is going on, we're here for you. If you would like to get in touch with us, just go to jillonmoney.com and click the Contact Us button. Then write us a note. That's the email that we receive. And if you'd like to join us live, just check the box and Mark will arrange to get you on the air. And yes, I have a preference to getting you on the microphone with me because it allows me to ask follow-up questions. And Mark can always chime in because we're both certified financial planners. We don't do it for a living, but we always have follow-up questions. We want to hear more about what's going on for you. But shy folks, don't worry. We're going to do emails as well. And this one is from Terry, who asks, "This is a question for my daughter. She had an account with Pershing since she was 14 years old. We opened up a custodial account after someone gifted her $20,000. Now fast forward and they're closing her account because she works as a compliance director at a cannabis company. She has tried to open an account with Schwab with no luck. Do you have any suggestions to keep this money invested?" This is a really interesting question and a tough one as well. I think a lot of the big firms, they have this know your customer account information and they might feel like, oh, this is ill-gotten gains, whatever. But I might try to work with the company's 401k plan provider if they have one. That might be a nice way to at least say, hey, I'm doing business with you as a retirement plan participant. Can you open an account for me? And of course, I would try all the other firms and see if they have a similar response. I hope that helps. Let us know how it goes. Okay, that's it. That's the program. Our music is composed by Joel Goodman. Mark Talercio is our executive producer and the king of all things web. Try to lift someone up. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week.